All right, welcome back to another episode of StichMethod. Today we're going to be doing In the Mind of Robby Krieger for LA Woman. Before we begin, I do have a lot to say. Number one, listen to the song. Go listen to the song right now. It's an 8-minute song. There are a lot of parts, a lot of key changes, and I want to discuss all the stuff that's happening. Number two, stay to the end. I'm going to show you how, if I were in a band, how I would transition into the song and make it a little bit more epic, in my opinion. All right, let's get started. All right, so LA Woman. The reason I chose this song is because my wife and I were driving around and she said, you should do an In the Mind of Robby Krieger. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. But I didn't know what song. And she said, you should do LA Woman. And so I listened to it and she's right. And there's so much going on here. And the toolkit that Robby Krieger has to deal with all these chord changes and different pieces is quite impressive. Plus he has a very unique sound. So we're going to get right into it. Let's talk about the very beginning. I'm going to do this video in sections, by the way, and so you're going to have to kind of watch them all, put it all together. All right, so the beginning. The beginning is built around an A chord vamp. Just like this, just a vamp on an A chord. Now, before I tell you what's happening, the idea is it eventually does go to a G, right? City lights, city lights. And so really, in this section that's happening, of an A chord that is, playing for 2 minutes, and then a G comes in. And when you have two major chords that are back to back like this is usually the 5 and 4 of a certain key. So A and G are the 5 and 4 chord of the key of D. Why am I saying this? Well, because the prime suspect of the scale that we want to use is going to be an A Mixolydian, which is really nothing more than a D major scale starting on the A. I'll show you everything here. And let me show you really quickly what an A major scale looks like, which is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. And when you listen to Ray's his line, he comes in, it's the A, and he hits the G. Now the difference between A Mixolydian and A major is that A major has a G sharp, A Mixolydian has the D. So right as I was studying this, I knew, okay, we got an A Mixolydian vibe going on here. And so when the song starts off, we have this little vamp, right? Let's see. And we have this, and then we have Rob. And I want to just discuss that really quickly. That line right there is just a harmony built around, here's the major third of A, the C sharp, comes down, right? And then A here, and what's very important, again, ending on the G. This note right here is indicating, again, okay, we have an A Mixolydian, again, which is the D major scale, just starting on the A, and it gives you a G instead of a G sharp. That's the only difference. All right, so now we get this little dance, like... And so what's happening there? Well, let's hear a little bit about it first and how it comes in, and then we'll discuss it. All right, a little kind of a dance on this little line here. So what is this? Well, I already told you, it's an A Mixolydian scale, but let's take a look at it. A key feature to Robby's playing, which is so unique, is in the what I call the typical psychedelic kind of door sound, he's not really in a box. He's moving linearly, and he's really celebrating the half steps in his scales. And again, I should have mentioned this song is about improvising over this and not playing it note for note. So how do you improvise in that mindset? Well, let's just take a quick look at an A Mixolydian scale starting from this A here. I'm going to kind of flesh it out in a certain pattern. We have A, we have B, C sharp, D. You can do E here, or E here, and then you have F sharp, G, A. Your choice. Or, and you'll hear him do some slides, but more importantly, he's going to dance on these half steps. And he's really going to try and land on that A. So in the beginning, you'll hear these Now, simple enough, that's where we start. Then, after the little kind of fooling around on that groove, Jim Morrison's going to come in with his vocals. I don't really know lyrics. And then at this point, we're switching gears. The intro is a little bit of an A Mixolydian thing, all right? And then we have this vocal part. And what happens here? Okay, well, Jim Morrison comes with a vocal line. The first vocal line is this. Sorry, I totally screwed up. The first vocal line is this, like this, right? All right, and so what does Robby do here? Well, what's really cool is he had this A Mixolydian kind of linear path in this very beginning little ditty. We'll get back to this, I promise, because there's a lot to do with this. But when the vocals start, he switches over to an A Dorian. No. A Dorian or A Mixolydian. Really, when you put those together, you get a MixoDorian scale. And I'll link below my MixoDorianBlues Scale, which will help you understand the mindset of this scale, okay? That scale is linked below, and I talk about it very thoroughly. But let me show you. He can choose at this moment when the vocals are coming in between a Dorian line or a Mixolydian line. So I'll show you the scale really quickly, okay? I'm just going to name frets for the guitar players. You have 5, 7, 8. Check this out. 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you have 4, 5, 7. Now the G string's a doozy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. B string. 5, 7, 8. E string. 5, 7, 8. And so to make sense of this, you got to understand it's two scales put together. You have a Dorian scale and a Mixolydian. But let me show you how to handle this stuff. So he comes in with da 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 da, and he comes in with this. Oh, sorry. The telltale feature is this minor third right here. So the first line is this kind of Dorian line. It goes from a flat 7 to a 6, 5, minor third, 1. Then Jim Morrison, oh da 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 da, and you'll hear him. This 1 flat 7 minor third. Then you hear Jim Morrison, and you might hear Robby switch to this Mixolydian. Here's that major third. And then now, what I just did right there is a little more indicative of what really happens, but being able to switch between a Dorian feel and a Mixolydian feel after each vocal depends on whether or not you hit a minor third or a major third. And once you start with the major third, if you start with a major third, you can end with a minor third. But if you start with a minor third, you can't really end with a major third. Doesn't really work. So listen to what I'm going to do here, by the way, is he also will finish with these little runs. So I'm going to pretend to be Jim Morrison and Robby Krieger at once. I don't recommend doing that. All right, so here we go. Here. Dorian. Mixolydian. Dorian. Mixolydian. All right, now. During the vocals that happens, right? And then all of a sudden goes City of Lights to the G chord. City of Lights. I don't know why I'm singing like this. And then the guitar solo comes in, or a short guitar solo. And I want to bring us back to this intro mindset. Yes, it's still over the A chord, and yes, Robby's going to use these linear Mixolydian scales, but he does something so cool, which is indicative of his sound, and you can hear this in the end as well, which is he does a line like this. That thing. And what's really important is, remember how I was telling you in the beginning that G was very important to A Mixolydian. That's the flat 7. But as he comes in, he hits a G sharp. Now, this is a tip of the hat to the harmonic minor, but the idea is he puts in this G sharp at the beginning, at the low end of his riffs. And this what gives, I think, Robby a very signature sound. You hear it a lot in his playing. And it gives the ear a little like twist, and then he snaps back into the Mixolydian. So starting off in this open E, F sharp, G sharp, and then getting into your Mixolydian. So let me show you what's going on here, all right? If you want to think of an A major pentatonic, 2, 5, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, your major root note is your pinky, okay? You can see these 2 4s are in there, and all you really need to think about is coming in with a hammer on 0 2 4, and then 0 2 4, 0 2 4. All those notes are in pretty much the A major pentatonic or the D Mixolydian. I'm just going to show you kind of like where you want to pick up from. And then you want to grab that scale I showed you. And then you even want to take it past here, up here, okay, which is 5, A, B, C sharp, and D. He gets all up here. So let me show you. You have this intro coming on the E, excuse me. You have these hammer-ons. You start to grab the scale. And half steps. And you end on an A. So let's see if we can kind of capture that sound. And so you got to, city lights, city lights. And then you'll get this kind of solo. And on the A. So hopefully that was kind of clear, okay? Gives you that Robby Krieger, like, ooh, type style. Grab your Mixolydian. And fool around and slide. And you get that sliding linear Robby Krieger sound, you get those half steps, you get that cool sour note at the beginning. And so that's going to take you up to the solo part and even back to the vocals. Again, it comes in down, 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 down. And you can fool around with your Dorian there. And then it's going to go into an organ solo. And after the organ solo comes in a half speed kind of thing where everything stops, just boom, and it sits on an A chord. Okay, now I'm going to change my looper really quickly to show you that, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about what he does there. All right, I'm back. I made a new loop. Part of my quarantine look, by the way. All right, so it goes for a while. I forgot what minute we are, but all of a sudden it starts to just like boom, halftime, and the backing track kind of boom, ba, boom, boom, da, boom. And then Robby Krieger here shifts gears, and there's a real reason why he shifts gears, and we're going to get there in a second. Everything up until this moment has been a blend of Mixolydian or this like major 7th harmonic minor type thing, some Dorian, some Mixolydian. All 3 components in this song. And so, pardon me, I just got a text. I'm going to turn off my phone. And so here, when everything slows down, he's going to shift to purely an A minor pentatonic. And so should you if you're playing the song. And so there's a reason for it. And I'll play it for you first, okay? And he's just... just fooling around the pentatonic. Because out of this section comes a new section, Mr. Mojo Rising, which goes from an A, like power chord, to a C, and back to an A. Now, I hope I'm not making your head spin, but I want to explain. This A to C, this C is nowhere near inside of an A Mixolydian progression or anything. It is shift keys now. We are now pretty much in A minor type feel here. A, C, A. And the reason that he was playing an A minor pentatonic was he reached into his toolkit and he said, okay, we're going from this A Mixolydian, Dorian, kind of cool feeling into a slower part, and we're going to sit on this A, and with my pentatonic, I'm going to start to blend in that old portion of the song with the new portion of the song, and that A minor pentatonic has no modal responsibilities, okay? There's no modes associated with pentatonics. This is a straight up minor pentatonic. It does have the A minor in it. It does have the C in it. Nothing else is going to kind of contradict with it, and he's starting to kind of mold what's to come. All right, so he's in that A minor pentatonic, and also Mr. Mojo comes in, and that C at this point, the C doesn't sound odd. It sounds fine because it is in his pentatonic, and everything sounds good. So let me just fast forward, well, not fast forward, let me make a new loop on that, and I'll show you. All right, so I have this new loop, and it's the Mr. Mojo Rising part. It's the A to the C, all right? And all you're going to do here is just mess around with an A minor pentatonic as much as you want to. Remember, the number one rule of pentatonic is always sounds good, so you're going to get this type of sound. Okay, and you're just going to do that. You're just going to do that for a while. And now these sections are going by quick. This is kind of like a bridge. Out of this section comes another piece that does not belong, kind of, and we gotta look at how Robby handles this. So this thing gets faster. Starts picking up speed, and you'll hear it. And then it's going to go to a C. And then to a D. And it holds a D, and then it's going to go back into the beginning part. What does Robby do in the C and D? Nothing short of spectacular. Now again, Robby, I don't consider him to be like an in-your-face rock and roll guitar player. He's very reserved, he's very thoughtful, and I think that what he does in this song shows you his like capabilities of really handling all these things that are coming at us. And so when it goes to the C portion of this, you're going to hear him grab a C major pentatonic. It's form 2. I'm going to start right here just on the 9th fret, the G. 9, B string 8, 10, and then B string 8, 10. This is your root note. This is your major second. If you bend your major second a whole step up, you get a major third. So you're going to hear him, which is in the chord. You're going to hear him. Then he goes to a D. Okay, what happens? Well, he pushes this up to a D, but then he does something so fucking cool. So cool. He'll do the same thing. And then switches over to a D minor pentatonic for the rock sound. Then they go to the A. So let me show you that move. You have a form 2, 11, oh my god, 10, 12, 10, 12. So switches over to a minor pentatonic, which is 13, 10, 13, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 13, 10. And he's... Alright, so let me see if I can get a loop of that to show you. Alright, so I made the loop, and it's going to start on that C. I wanted to mention that as that Mojo Rising part gets faster, it gets faster and faster, and they kind of just hold on an A for a while. I forgot to mention that, okay? And then they jump into the C, which we're about to happen. So I have my C, I have my D. Watch for the C major pentatonic, the D major, and then the D minor. Listen for it. The A. So there it was. Alright, so now, how cool is this? Switches way back to Mojo Rising. A to C, minor pentatonic. It's faster and faster, and they kind of just stay on that A, and he's in the A minor pentatonic, excuse me. Goes to a C, jumps up to the C, and he gets that C major pentatonic working, jumps up to the D, D major pentatonic, plot twist, switches to a D minor pentatonic, and then what happens? They go back to the beginning jam of the song, an A major. And what's the first note that this guy hits? He hits a C sharp. And why does he hit a C sharp? Well, it's very easy. If you look at an A major chord, the 1 is the A, the 3, the major third is a C sharp. And so he comes in going, boom, whole new flavor, reaches into his pocket, boom, if you can't see my hand, boom, salts the thing with a new taste, and we're back in to this Mixolydian. So watch for it again, okay? I'm going to do the whole transition. And he's back in, and then after that, he's still soloing. You can do, and then the vocals, Dorian. Then maybe Mixolydian. And the cycle repeats until the whole song fades out. Okay, so now, I don't know how long this video is, but hopefully you're getting a taste of all the different ideas that Robby does in this song. It's quite awesome, actually. And so really quickly before we go, practice this stuff, load up the song on YouTube, or better yet, actually Spotify on the phone. I find that the guitar track is like not there because it's a not stereo track, and you can kind of play over it like yourself and improvise. Oh wait, before we go, I wanted to mention how I would kind of start the song if I was playing this live. And the idea is I would be in a band and we'd be playing whenever a song ended, whatever it ended on, say it ended on a G, and it was like, I would just climb up to the A and just create this jam like this, right? This is what I would do, I'm just showing you. And let's see if I have a loop. There it is, okay? And so we came out of a song and we worked up this A. I'm going to throw a little distortion on right here, okay? And I would solo just an A minor pentatonic, you know? Not like Robby just yet. Okay. And then come in with this part, you know, like... And then come in with the Robby stuff. And the idea is just start off not soloing like Robby, just like an A jam. People are like, yes, get your pentatonic in there, and then transition into the song. And then people be like, oh my god, this is LA Woman. That's what I would do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it didn't go too fast or too slow. And so play along with this. Get these ideas going and realize that Robby Krieger really knew what he was doing. He's a unique guitar player. Really a pleasure to kind of analyze what was going on. If you like this stuff, share it, subscribe. I'll see you next time on StichMethod. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.